SNC Lavalin is more than just a business. The construction giant is a Canadian institution. It has a footprint in more than 50 countries, tens of thousands of employees. But today, it announced a large fraction of that workforce will be cut. As Thomas Daigle explains, it's a sign of slowdowns abroad, scandal at home, and perhaps more trouble on the way.
The name SNC Lavalin may not have the ring it used to have. It was once the jewel of Canada's engineering sector, but corruption charges against former executives have taken their toll. From a bid rigging scandal involving a Montreal super hospital project to tales of crooked deals as far away as Bangladesh. Now, dealing with tougher market conditions, the company says it's slashing 9% of its global workforce.
This is just a reflection of the environment that SNC Lavalin is working under right now. It just doesn't have the contracts and it needs to cut its workforce.
The company points to a global slowdown in the mining sector. Add to that the $2 billion acquisition of oil and gas firm Kent's this past summer, and SNC expects to lay off some 3,000 workers outside of Canada, another 1,000 here at home. Quebec's economy minister says today's cuts were to be expected.
Acquisition, bad reputation, if you had all of that, well, you have the result today.
SNC executives shared the details in a conference call this afternoon, but wouldn't provide specifics on the impact here in Canada.
We're not in the business of downsizing. That's kind of the least favorite thing that me or any of my people like to do. It's a hugely disruptive, obviously, for the affected people.
Specifically on the World Bank,
CEO Robert Card is becoming used to dealing with bad news. His predecessor, Pierre Duhem, was charged with fraud, and just last month, another former executive, Riyad Ben Issa, was extradited from Switzerland, so he too can face fraud charges in Montreal. But there could be more. CBC News has learned the RCMP is preparing to charge SNC Lavalin itself, and that the company could face a potential fine of hundreds of millions of dollars.
The company has been around for 100 years, and they'll be around for another 100.
Despite the company's tarnished name, this analyst is convinced SNC will bounce back as strong as ever.
Almost every single large-scale E&C company, so engineering and construction company, at some point was embroiled in some sort of controversy.
SNC Lavalin says the cuts will be rolled out over 18 months and will lead to savings of $100 million a year, putting the company in a better position, it says, to then grow again. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Montreal.